Welcome to our channel, from pocket change to prized collectibles. Today we're unveiling the most valuable Lincoln Memorial pennies you never knew existed. These tiny coins hold incredible stories, and even bigger surprises in value. Make sure to watch till the end, you won't want to miss the rarest finds that could be hiding in your own collection. It's late summer, 1970. Somewhere in the bustle of the Denver Mint, machines roar in perfect rhythm. Blank metal discs clatter down chutes, fall into place, and are pressed into coins at astonishing speed. Every few seconds, another batch of pennies emerges, bright and new, fresh from the furnace of American industry. To most people, they look the same, just pennies. 1 cent copper-colored. Common. Unremarkable. But among the billions of coins minted that year, something very different was born. Not flashy. Not gold. Not even meant to stand out. Just one coin, mistaken for another. And because of that mistake, it would become a legend. This isn't the kind of story you hear every day. It doesn't involve buried treasure or lost pirate gold. It's the story of one small coin, a 1970 Lincoln cent, that traveled quietly through history, waiting to be noticed, and eventually, someone did notice, but let's not rush. We have to understand how something so ordinary could become something extraordinary. In 1970, the U.S. Mint was operating at full throttle. The country was in a complex moment, socially, politically, economically. But coins? Coins had to be made, no matter what. Bills had to be paid. People needed change. The Denver Mint alone produced over 2 billion pennies that year. Each of those coins bore the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln on the front, and the stately Lincoln Memorial on the back. And just beneath the date, a small D, the mint mark for Denver. You've probably seen thousands of these coins. Maybe one is sitting in a cup holder in your car. Or hiding under the couch. Maybe you've spent one at a corner store without giving it a second glance, but that's what makes this story so incredible. Because sometimes, something rare doesn't look rare at all. Let's talk about how coins are made. The process is brutal: heavy machines, sharp dies, and extreme pressure. Coins are supposed to be perfect. Every strike is designed to be precise. But the mint is a busy place. Thousands of planchets, the blank discs that become coins, flow through every minute, and once in a while, the wrong planchet ends up in the wrong place. That's what happened here. Instead of being struck on a copper planchet like every other penny, this 1970 Lincoln cent was struck on a completely different type of metal, a dimes planchet. It was the wrong size, the wrong weight, and the wrong material, but the press didn't know that. It simply did its job, stamping Lincoln's face and the Lincoln Memorial onto a blank it assumed was correct. That it was only later, far from the factory floor, that the coin's strange nature would start to show. You see, the dime planchet is smaller than a penny. So the coin looked slightly off. The edges didn't quite fit the design. Some of the letters were clipped. The color? Definitely off, more silver than copper. The weight was lighter, the feel just a bit too thin. To an untrained eye, it was probably dismissed as damaged or weirdly worn. But to someone who knew what they were looking at, it was a red flag, and an invitation to look closer, and what they found was astonishing. This wasn't just a coin with wear and tear. This was a penny that had never truly been a penny. It had slipped through the cracks of the minting process. It wasn't supposed to happen. But it did, and it was beautiful in its mistake. Now, you might think, okay, it's an error. That's cool. But is it really that big of a deal? Let's put it this way: the world of coin collecting, numismatics, thrives on things like this. Rare variations. Flukes. 1 in a billion pieces that no one expected to exist. This coin was exactly that, and it didn't just survive, it remained in stunning condition. Decades passed. Pocket after pocket. Maybe even a collector or two who didn't know what they had. Until one day, someone looked at it the right way, under the right light, with the right amount of knowledge, and they realized, this wasn't just a penny, this was a prize. Now, here's the twist: the vast majority of 1970 pennies are worth, well, 1 cent. They're everywhere. Most have been spent 1,000 times over. But a very few, have something unique. A wrong planchet. A missing detail. A story. This particular coin was authenticated, graded, and preserved. It became more than currency. It became a collector's dream. A fluke of manufacturing turned into a work of art. And as word spread about its existence, demand soared, because in a world flooded with sameness, true rarity always rises. Collectors, dealers, historians, they all wanted a piece of the story. They wanted to see the coin. Hold it. Own it. And finally, when it went to auction, something remarkable happened. Bidders lined up, wallets open, ready to claim this mistake made by machines but elevated by time, and in the end, that single 1970 D Lincoln penny, a coin smaller than a bottle cap, sold for a jaw-dropping $83,000. Let that sink in. $83,000 for a coin you could have picked up off the street. And here's the kicker, it's possible, just possible, that another one is out there. Still waiting. Sitting in a forgotten box. Or hiding in plain sight, in someone's change jar, still believed to be just another old penny. So the next time you get change, don't overlook the pennies. Look at the dates. Feel the weight. Look for the D. Look for anything that seems a little off. Second rare penny, every collector has their list. The top 10. The rare ones. The legendary finds. And somewhere, always near the top of that list, is a humble little coin that most people would overlook in an instant, the 1984 D Lincoln penny. It doesn't shimmer. It doesn't sparkle. It doesn't look like treasure. In fact, if you held it in your hand, you might think, this is just another penny, but appearances, as we all know, can be deceiving, because this particular penny, the one minted in Denver in 1984, hides something most eyes would miss. An imperfection, yes. A flaw, maybe. But in the world of coins, it's not damage that collectors chase. It's mistakes. And this mistake turned one coin into a phenomenon. To understand why this penny matters, we need to go back to a time when the US Mint was focused on one thing, volume. Billions of coins were being struck each year to keep up with the needs of the economy. The Denver Mint was a machine, churning out coins faster than most people could count. The Lincoln cent had been a fixture in American hands for 75 years by then. First released in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, it had become the most recognized coin in circulation. The front of the coin bore Lincoln's profile, his gaze forward, his features carved in soft detail. The reverse, at that time, displayed the Lincoln Memorial, echoing his legacy. In 1984, that design hadn't changed. But something else had, amid the pressure and the pace of production, a quiet error slipped through the mint's defenses. A die, the hardened steel stamp that strikes the coin, was damaged. Not broken. Not shattered. Just misaligned. Slightly. Enough to leave a ghostly imprint where there should only be one. This wasn't your typical error. The coin wasn't off-center. It wasn't cut incorrectly. The surface wasn't blistered or cracked. No, this mistake was much more subtle, and that's what made it so rare. On some of the 1984 D Lincoln cents, Lincoln's earlobe had a twin. Not a trick of the light. Not wear from age. But a clearly doubled lobe, stamped into the coin by a faulty die. The error became known as the 1984 double die obverse, and it's not just the doubling that's fascinating. It's how easy it is to miss. Most people will never notice it. Even collectors might pass over it if they're not looking carefully. But once you see it, that distinct extra outline of Lincoln's earlobe, you can't unsee it. That tiny detail transforms the coin. It's not just another penny anymore. It's a rare find. A curiosity. A survivor of a mistake. There's something beautiful about that, isn't there? Something made by accident becomes something cherished. Something common becomes something legendary, but not all double die pennies from 1984 are equal. Many of them entered circulation and were spent, scratched, pocketed, and worn. The rarest ones, the true prizes, are those that remained untouched. Crisp. Bright. Untarnished, only a handful of those exist. And they're the ones that collectors whisper about. The ones you'll never see in everyday change, unless you get incredibly, unbelievably lucky. Still, that doesn't stop people from looking. Searching. Hoping. Because the idea that a single cent, a coin that could be lying under your car seat right now, might be worth something more, that's powerful. Imagine that. A penny. Overlooked. Underestimated. Passed around for decades. And yet, with the right error, the right condition, and the right timing, it becomes more than money. It becomes a ticket into a completely different world, the world of numismatics. And here's the part that surprises everyone: this particular error, the 1984 D. Lincoln cent with the double die obverse, isn't flashy. It doesn't scream for attention. But among collectors, it's one of the most sought-after modern pennies ever made. It represents everything collectors love: rarity, mystery, and the thrill of the hunt. And for one collector, that thrill turned into something tangible, because one of these pennies, one with a perfect strike, preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition, made its way to auction. There, it was examined, certified, and admired by experts who knew exactly what they were looking at: not a mistake, not a fluke, but a treasure. And when the bidding was over, when the hammer fell, and the crowd fell silent, one single 1984 D penny had achieved something unimaginable. It sold for $71,000. Let that sit for a moment. A coin worth 1 cent. That became worth more than a brand new luxury car. That's not hype. That's not myth. That's the market, and that's the magic of coins. So the next time you're handed your change at the grocery store, maybe take an extra moment. Look closely. You might just be holding the second rarest modern penny in your hand, and if you see something strange about Lincoln's earlobe, hold on tight, because that small detail could be the beginning of a very big story. Next up, we have a coin that might seem completely ordinary at first glance, but holds a secret that has fascinated collectors for years. This is a 1998 penny minted in Denver, a coin that looks just like any other 1-cent piece you might find in your pocket or at the bottom of a drawer. But if you take a closer look, especially with the knowledge of what to search for, this seemingly everyday coin reveals a subtle difference that sets it apart from the millions of others struck that year. Picture the scene back in 1998 at the Denver Mint. Inside the Mint's cavernous halls, machines hummed and clanged, tirelessly working to produce billions of coins. The Lincoln cent was a staple, relied upon daily in commerce all across the United States. Producing more than 5 billion pennies that year alone, the Mint's presses were operating at full speed, churning out these small copper discs with remarkable consistency. But even in the most precise operations, mistakes happen. And sometimes, these mistakes create something extraordinary. Among the countless pennies produced, a tiny number were struck using a proof reverse die, a die originally intended for proof coins, which are specially made for collectors. These proof dies have sharper details and slightly different characteristics than the standard circulation dies. The use of a proof reverse die during normal production was an accident, a rare error that led to an unusual variation. The difference shows itself in the word America, stamped on the back of the coin. In a normal 1998 Denver penny, the letters A and M are close together, almost touching. But on this rare version, the space between these two letters is noticeably wider. It's a small change, almost invisible unless you know exactly what you're looking for. This has come to be known as the wide AM variety. To many, this detail might seem insignificant. But for coin collectors, it's the kind of variation that sparks excitement. This small spacing change is a key that unlocks the coin's true rarity. Unlike most pennies from that year, these wide AM coins are incredibly scarce. Finding one means discovering a piece of minting history, a moment when the Mint's flawless production line experienced a glitch that created a unique and valuable treasure. The wide AM 1998 D penny is a fascinating example of how tiny variations can transform everyday objects into sought-after collectibles. But rarity alone isn't enough to drive a coin's value. Condition plays a crucial role. Many of these error coins were lost in circulation, their surfaces scratched, worn down, or damaged after years of handling. The true prize lies in examples that have survived with minimal wear, still showing the original shine and sharp details as if they just left the mint. These well-preserved coins are a testament to time, a snapshot of 1998 frozen in almost perfect condition. For collectors, finding a wide AM penny in such shape is like discovering a hidden gem. It's not just about owning a coin, it's about possessing a piece of history that connects you directly to that one unusual moment when an error slipped past the mint's usual high standards. Professional grading services play a vital role in authenticating these coins and assigning a grade based on their condition. A high grade means a coin has minimal imperfections and is close to mint state, significantly increasing its desirability and value. Only a handful of wide AM 1998 pennies have been found in these top conditions, making them highly prized within the numismatic community. Collectors often tell stories of stumbling upon these coins by pure chance, maybe tucked away in an old coin jar, forgotten in a wallet, or nestled inside a collection of everyday change. The thrill of discovery is part of what makes this coin so captivating. It's a reminder that history and value can be hidden in the most mundane places, waiting patiently for someone with a keen eye and a little bit of luck. The story of one such coin is particularly remarkable. This near-perfect example was certified by experts and quickly became one of the most talked-about modern-era coins. Collectors recognized it not just as a rare mistake, but as a symbol of how something ordinary can become extraordinary. Interest and demand for this era coin steadily increased over time. As more collectors learned about it and recognized its scarcity, it became clear that this coin was something special. The combination of rarity, excellent condition, and the fascinating story behind its creation all contributed to a growing appreciation for the 1998 wide AM penny. From a humble penny that most people would spend without a second thought, it transformed into a prized collectible commanding a staggering price. Today, the value of a 1998 wide AM penny in exceptional condition can reach as high as $54,000. It's astonishing to think that something originally worth a single cent has appreciated so dramatically, simply because of a small, unintended variation in its design. This coin is a perfect reminder that sometimes, the most valuable treasures are hiding in the most unexpected places. So next time you find yourself handling pennies, take a moment to examine them carefully. Pay attention to the details you might usually overlook. The tiniest difference, the spacing of 2 letters, could turn an everyday coin into something priceless. You never know when you might be holding a piece of history, or even a fortune, right in the palm of your hand. Next rare penny on our list may seem like any other ordinary 2007 penny minted in Denver, but as with many coins, there's often more beneath the surface than meets the eye. At first glance, this penny looks exactly like the countless others that have passed through millions of hands. Its copper hue, the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But hidden in plain sight is a subtle detail that transforms this coin from everyday pocket change into a highly prized collectible. To fully appreciate what makes this coin so special, we need to step back and consider the context of coin production in 2007. The Denver Mint was operating at full capacity, responsible for producing billions of pennies that year alone. The demand for change in everyday transactions was enormous, requiring state-of-the-art machinery and highly trained personnel to maintain a smooth production process. Coins were struck at incredible speeds, and quality control was rigorous, but no system is flawless. Among billions of coins produced, rare errors occasionally slip through the cracks. Some errors are dramatic and easy to spot, like double strikes or missing elements. Others are much more subtle, requiring a trained eye and careful inspection. This particular penny belongs to the latter category. It features what collectors refer to as the wide AM variety, a subtle difference in the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the coin's reverse. Normally, these 2 letters sit very close together, nearly touching. But in this rare variation, the space between them is noticeably wider. To most people, this might seem like a tiny and insignificant detail, but in the world of numismatics, it's a defining feature. The spacing difference arises from an anomaly involving the coin's dies, the metal stamps used to impress the design onto blank coin planchets. Typically, separate dies are used for proof coins and circulation coins. Proof dies are specially made to produce coins with sharper, more detailed impressions for collectors. Occasionally, a proof die or a die with slightly different spacing gets mistakenly used in the production of regular circulation pennies, creating a subtle but important variation. This is exactly what happened with the 2007 Denver penny featuring the wide AM error. This coin represents a moment in minting history when precision met imperfection, resulting in a collectible gem. While millions of regular pennies from 2007 were released into circulation, only a small fraction display this unusual spacing anomaly. It's a rare error, and rarity is often the key that sparks collector interest, but rarity alone does not determine a coin's value. Condition is everything. The vast majority of pennies end up in circulation, exposed to constant handling, scratches, dirt, and wear. Over time, these factors dull the coin's details and reduce its appeal to collectors. However, some 2007 Denver pennies with the wide AM error have survived in near pristine condition, either because they were saved by savvy collectors early on or tucked away by chance. The condition of these coins can range from lightly circulated to flawless mint state examples that look as though they just came off the production line. The better the condition, the more desirable and valuable the coin becomes. Collectors prize coins with sharp details, full luster, and no signs of wear or damage. These coins are often submitted to professional grading services, where experts carefully examine every aspect before assigning a condition grade. Grading adds credibility and helps buyers and sellers agree on a coin's value. Only a handful of 2007 D wide AM pennies have been certified in top grades, making them even more sought after. This scarcity of high-grade examples significantly contributes to the coin's appeal and worth. One of the most exciting aspects of this coin is the thrill of discovery. Collectors and hobbyists often share stories of finding such rare varieties in unexpected places, perhaps mixed in with everyday change, tucked inside old coin jars, or inherited in family collections. Spotting that distinctive wider gap between the A and M requires attention to detail and patience, but the reward can be extraordinary. Owning this coin means more than just having a rare error. It's about possessing a piece of history that connects you to the minting process and the story of American currency. This coin symbolizes how tiny imperfections can transform an ordinary object into a valuable artifact. As awareness of the 2007 D wide AM penny has grown among collectors, so too has the demand. It is now considered one of the most desirable modern era coins. The coin's rarity, combined with the excitement of its backstory and the scarcity of well-preserved examples, has elevated it to a status worthy of serious attention. While the coin's face value remains just 1 cent, its true worth far exceeds that. Depending on condition and collector interest, it can be worth many times its original value, sometimes dramatically so. This transformation from humble penny to prized collectible is a perfect example of why numismatics is such a fascinating hobby. So next time you pick up a 2007 Denver penny, give it a good look. Examine the letters closely, especially the spacing in America. If you find that wider gap, you might just be holding one of the rarest and most valuable pennies from recent years, an intriguing piece that tells a story of minting imperfections, rarity, and the exciting hunt for numismatic treasures. Up next, let's dive into a fascinating story about a coin you probably see every day but rarely stop to examine closely, the 2014 1-cent penny. At first glance, it's just like any other penny you might find in your change. But for sharp-eyed collectors, this particular version holds a secret that makes it exceptionally rare and valuable. In the world of coin collecting, small details can mean the difference between a common coin and a highly sought-after collectible. One of those details is the mint mark, a tiny letter stamped onto the coin that tells you exactly where it was made. For the 2014 penny, this little letter could either be a D, showing it came from the Denver Mint, or no mark at all, which usually means it came from Philadelphia. But what if that mark is missing where it should be? This is exactly what happened with a rare batch of 2014 pennies. A handful of these coins were produced without a mint mark in places where one was supposed to appear. These coins aren't just printing errors, they are genuine anomalies resulting from a unique mix-up during the minting process. Imagine the machines at the mint working flawlessly for the most part, but then, for just a brief moment, a die missing the mint mark gets used on the production line. The result? A penny that looks ordinary but actually carries a minting error that few know about. What's remarkable about these pennies is that they entered circulation like any other coin, slipping unnoticed into the vast sea of everyday change. That makes finding one today a genuine treasure hunt. You could be sifting through coins at your local store or bank and suddenly spot a penny that's missing this crucial detail. Because these no-mint mark pennies are so rare, they're incredibly popular with collectors who specialize in minting errors and oddities. The absence of the mint mark turns a simple coin into a fascinating conversation piece. It's a physical reminder that even modern technology and strict quality controls aren't immune to mistakes. The value of these coins is not just about rarity, though. The condition plays a massive role in determining how much a coin might be worth. Coins that still shine with their original copper color, with crisp details and no scratches or dents, are the crown jewels for collectors. Those worn from circulation are less prized but still notable due to their unusual nature. Experts who grade coins spend hours examining every detail under magnification to ensure the coin's authenticity and condition. The grading process adds a layer of trust for buyers and sellers, confirming that what might look like a small flaw is actually a certified rarity. High-graded no-mint mark pennies from 2014 often spark fierce competition among collectors. One of the reasons this coin has captured so much interest is the story behind it, how a tiny omission can turn a mass-produced item into a rare collectible. It's a reminder that history isn't only in old artifacts, it's happening all the time, even in the coins jingling in your pocket. As the years pass and more people become aware of this error, the demand for the 2014 no-mint mark penny continues to grow. It has carved out a special place among modern coin errors, intriguing both new collectors and seasoned experts. Owning one is like holding a piece of a fascinating manufacturing mishap that the mint didn't intend to create. While a penny's face value is always 1 cent, this particular coin's value extends far beyond that. Depending on its preservation and where it finds itself in the market, it can be worth a substantial amount. Its worth fluctuates with demand but remains significantly higher than typical pennies. For those fortunate enough to find one in exceptional condition, this coin is a prized possession. It carries a value that many would find surprising, turning everyday pocket change into a valuable collector's item. And while we won't pin it down to a single number right now, it's safe to say this penny is worth thousands of dollars, showing how sometimes, the smallest details can lead to the biggest surprises. So, if you come across a 2014 penny, don't just toss it in your jar. Take a moment to inspect it carefully. Look closely for the mint mark, or lack thereof. You might just discover that you're holding a coin with a rare error, a coin that's a modern numismatic marvel, and one that's worth far more than you ever imagined, potentially up to $24,000 depending on its condition and collector demand. As you can see, this seemingly ordinary penny holds extraordinary value for collectors around the world. It's a perfect example of how paying attention to the tiniest details can lead to incredible discoveries. Whether you're just starting out in coin collecting or you've been at it for years, coins like the 2014 no-mint mark penny remind us why this hobby is so exciting and rewarding. Remember, rarity combined with condition creates true worth. So if you ever stumble upon one of these pennies, don't rush to spend it. Instead, consider having it examined by a professional. It could be a ticket to an amazing find, one that many collectors dream about but rarely come across. This coin also highlights the fascinating history behind everyday objects. What we often see as simple pocket change can actually tell stories of craftsmanship, human error, and the evolution of minting technology. Holding a coin like this connects you to that story, making it more than just money. It becomes a collectible piece of American heritage. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on more amazing coin stories and rare finds. Feel free to share this video with your fellow coin enthusiasts or anyone who loves a good treasure hunt, and I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you have questions about anything we covered today. Your support really helps the channel grow, so thanks so much for watching and being part of this journey.